Hellchild Blood Money, issue number 1 from Zenscope. Hellchild is a character I've done a previous review for anyone interested. It was a one-shot between Hellchild and Inferno, Dante, Mercy Dante, who was like one of my favorite characters. um, so yeah, this is a new miniseries. This is one of 4. For anyone who's not familiar with Zenscope, pretty much all their series are miniseries, except for the Grim Fairy Tales. Grim Fairy Tales is like ongoing, um, but everything else is they're usually about 6 issues. So this is interesting that this one's only 4. But yeah, Hellchild. Here's just a good backstory for her. Angelica Blackstone, aka Hellchild, is the half vampire daughter of the Greek god Hades and currently a gun for hire. So she's the daughter of Hades, fell in love with, I believe, Dracula, who, and then she died, and Dracula brought her back as a vampire, I believe. So now she's like half Greek god, half vampire, and she kind of works as like a mercenary slash bounty hunter. Usually, she deals with the supernatural, but in the anthology that kind of set up for this, basically there was a Zenscope. It was like an anthology. It had a couple of one shots in there. One of them was Hellchild. Another one was Gretel, which I've ordered. Like, Gretel actually came out 2 weeks ago. I switched comic book stores and I've ordered Gretel, but for some reason it's not coming in. They keep telling me hopefully next week. So hopefully next week I'll be able to do a Gretel review. But yeah, it was basically just kind of like a prelude to this issue. So right now at the moment, Hellchild is a mercenary. Well, she's kind of like a bodyguard, mercenary, bounty hunter kind of thing. So yeah, basically we start off with some yuppie kids hanging out with prostitutes, and one of them ODs and dies, and of course the other prostitutes want to call the cops. Well, they want to call the ambulance to, kind of maybe see if they can help her. But they're saying, we can't call the cops, we're gonna get in trouble, she's already dead, it's too late for her, blah blah blah. And then of course, when she reaches for the phone, dude pulls out a gun and shoots her dead. And yeah, now they have to get rid of the body. And skip a couple pages. So basically, this dude, he's kind of like he's very high end, very rich. His son was one of the yuppies. He was actually the innocent yuppie. He's the one that actually wanted to call the cops and stuff like that. And basically, we got this bodyguard who kind of went and cleaned up the crime scene and got rid of the evidence. But it turned out that the prostitutes were kind of like high-end escorts, and they work for this one guy who is pretty much like runs the underground in the city, and he is somewhat familiar. He's somewhat aware that the kids were involved because they're regular Johns, and they were the girls were last seen with these guys. So they were able to put 2 and 2 together. So he puts a request that this dude hires Angelica Blackstone, Hellchild, to basically bodyguard his son. And yeah, we cut to the next page where we see the 2 friends have been kidnapped, and they're basically trying to get information out of him. And then this guy pretty much squeals, but also lies and says that it was the rich kid who OD'd the girl, and basically they wanted to call the ambulance and stuff like that, but he refused. It was actually them who who refused. So yeah, basically they're selling out their friend, and they're kind of lying about it, and they get brutally murdered. So yeah, Angelica shows up and basically tells the kid, "Hey, I'm your new bodyguard from now on." Meanwhile, the dad goes out with his trophy wife or trophy girlfriend or whatever, and he gets brutally murdered by some creepy clown mask wearing guys. And then yeah, we cut to the yuppie kid at a party. I like how the fact he has Y on his shirt, Y for yuppie, I guess. Drop some lint. So yeah, they're at a party. Angelica is kind of like, for someone who has people after them, going to like a party is kind of a stupid thing to do. But yeah, one of the bodyguards gets killed, and that's when poop hits the fan. I'm not going to show the rest for copyright reasons and stuff like that. But that's kind of the basic first story of Hellchild. Pretty much she has to guard this rich kid who has the whole underworld after him. Interesting premise. But yeah, that's Hellchild, Blood Money. Let me just flip through. And there's my dog, I guess, wants to say hello. And ignore me wearing flip-flops with socks. I just threw on some sandals so I can come back here and record this in peace. So that's why I don't usually wear flip-flops with socks on. All right. So here's some like advertisements for other Zenscope. Haven't seen Dragon's Blood. In fact, this is like the first time actually seeing this ad. Looks kind of interesting. I don't know. To be honest, I kind of prefer the Zenscope series that take place in modern day. I'm not really all that big a fan of their fantasy stuff. But that's just me. I believe this is Tarot. I'm not a fan of Tarot. I don't know. Maybe I should give her a try, but she's the current main lead for the Grimm Fairy Tales. I've read like a few, and I don't know, just something about her character just doesn't interest me in any way. This is Gretel, who I was talking about earlier. She's from Hansel and Gretel. So she has a 5-issue miniseries. The first one's already in stores. I have it on my pull list. Hopefully my comic book store should be ordering it. I should be getting it next week. But I kind of like her backstory. Backstory is kind of cool. Basically, her and her brother were living with her dad and stepmom, and unless I'm confusing this, no, wait, never mind. That was a different Gretel, also from the Zenscope, but that was like a different Hansel and Gretel. This Gretel, basically, she is immortal, and she hunts down witches. Basically, she hunts witches, but witches are also hunting her. And when she kills them, she eats their heart to gain their power. She only has like I got this information from the one shot that I mentioned earlier. Not the one shot. It's like an anthology of one shots that's preluding to miniseries. So basically, there was it's like an anthology of stories. Inside of them is a short one for Gretel, which is a prelude to her miniseries. There was one for Hellchild, which is a prelude to Blood Money. But yeah, the character interested me enough in that anthology that I asked my comic book store to get it for me. I don't know, it sounds kind of cool. She basically is targeted by witches, and then when she kills them, she eats their hearts for their powers. Like, I don't know, like, you had me sold on that. I've seen a lot of Zodiac like advertisements and mentions, but I've never actually read any of it. I don't know. Looks kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know. For me, like, when it comes to Zenscope, I like their more femme fatale series. I've read only a couple stuff with like male leads, and they're okay. But I think their bread and butter is the badass, female characters. Robin Hood Outlaw, I'm currently reading that. That one's okay so far. And then Grimm Universe. I'm not a fan of this Tarot character. This is Tarot, right? Yeah, I think this is Tarot. I'm not a fan of the character, but I mean, I do like Robin Hood. Van Helsing is obviously awesome. Black Knight is interesting. I found her miniseries to be somewhat weaker of the when it comes to the Zenscope universe, but I mean it wasn't bad. It was just it didn't, in my opinion, it doesn't live up to some of the other series. But yeah, that is. I like this art style. That is Hellchild Blood Money. Decent start. I liked it. I don't know if you guys will. It kind of Zenscope has its own style, and I don't know if you guys kind of dig Zenscope in general. You guys will probably like this. If not, I don't know, maybe. Zenscope basically reminds me a lot of like a less grim, edgy version of Chaos Comics. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Chaos Comics. Back in the 90s, they were like really popular. In the early 2000s, they kind of were the personification of the bad girl comic trope. Zenscope pretty much has that. Only, I would say their characters aren't as sexualized. I mean, they're still sexy, badass, ladies, but they're not like, in the like Witchblade kind of armor. But yeah, I like it. Like I like Zenscope. Zenscope, I would probably say is, yeah, I would easily say it's my favorite comic book publisher at the moment. I pretty much enjoy almost everything that comes out from them, minus, of course, a few things, like the thing that they're most known for, the Grimm fairy tale series. I just can't get into the main character of that. But Hellchild is awesome. Robin Hood is awesome. Van Helsing is awesome. My favorite, Mercy Dante. I'm praying that Mercy Dante gets a miniseries soon. Hopefully, maybe. She was briefly mentioned in here. Right here, they kind of mentioned, so where's Mercy? I haven't seen her in a while. Off this week, she has some sort of business. So yeah, like she's mentioned, she doesn't appear. Hopefully, we'll get something from her soon. I should probably do maybe a review on the volume that I got. I got basically the first volume trade paperback of Mercy Dante. Maybe I'll do something like that someday. But yeah, Zenscope. I enjoyed Zenscope. Basically reminds me a lot of like Image, Top Cow, Chaos Comics from like the 90s, early 2000s. Badass female characters without any of that ham-fisted SJW nonsense thrown in there. Cool, interesting story. Basically, they have fun with comics. This is pretty much a popcorn flick in comic book form. Like, the stories aren't going to win any awards or anything like that, but if you want to be entertained, while reading, I always am when it comes to Zenscope. That's like the best way I can pretty much say Zenscope. Zenscope is basically like good, entertaining B movies or like Hollywood popcorn flicks. Won't win any awards. Doesn't have the highest production value. As you can see by the artwork. I mean, it's not terrible artwork, but it's not like, something that you're going to get out of DC, or I was going to say Marvel, but Marvel's pretty crap when it comes to their artwork. I mean, they do have some series that are really, really good. But yeah, serviceable. Again, if you just want good, entertaining, if you just want fun adventures and good action, Zenscope is the way to go. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me what you guys think. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment down below. Share this with friends, family members, other people like comics. If you guys can help the channel grow in that way, I would really much appreciate it. But yeah, hope you guys have a good day, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.